Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video about ME/CFS, I wanted to talk about the most important thing that you need to know and to master if you want to manage your ME/CFS well and hopefully also make some improvements. Um, but before I do so, I just wanted to play a clip for you in which one of the most famous researchers um, when it comes to ME/CFS basically gives away exactly what I'm going to talk about. And you will understand why that is later.
Why does this disease last so long? Uh, it is likely that this is a cell autonomous in the sense that all cells can have the citric acid cycle for drive their energy, and this pathway can be turned on in all those cells if it's exposed to interferon alpha. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's on in every cell. So it's possible that people have a small amount of cells being activated, and that simply robs them of some of the energy, but not as much as someone who's bedbound. So the more cells that are involved, the sicker the patient's going to be. It's also possible that this energy depletion uh, can cause crashes. So sicker patients are, are more easily crashed than people that are not so sick. In fact, my son, who's very severe, says it's almost impossible not to crash. It's also possible that crashes activates innate immunity. And now, if that's true, and we don't know that it's true, it could explain why people are stuck in this disease. Because if it activates innate immunity, you're effectively starting the disease process all over again as though you had your first infection. And this idea actually came from one of my graduate students who came down with this disease a number of years ago. And she felt it was the crashes that keeps her in it. And so she was determined not to crash. She became bedbound. She was pretty sick. And she went for an entire year without crashing. And she got over it. That's an N of one for a cure. And I was concerned that she was just better, but not over it. And she told me, no, she can run 16 kilometers a day and have no detrimental effect from that. And I think that's a good definition of being cured because most people can't do that, even healthy people. So the question.
As you can see from the clip here that I just showed you, what Professor Ron Davis is actually alluding to here is that if you do not crash when you have this condition, the condition can in fact at least stabilize and in many cases improve over time. So this might seem self-evident because when it comes to ME/CFS, one of the core things that they teach you is that you must try to avoid post-exertional malaise. You must try to avoid the crashes. And this is true. Um, if you can be successful at avoiding triggering post-exertional malaise when you have ME/CFS, you can in fact improve. However, in order to improve, it's not enough just to limit. And this is where I'm not going to say they go wrong, but often they don't mention this to you. It's not enough just to limit the amount or the number of episodes where you trigger a crash with post-exertional malaise. In fact, you have to eliminate them altogether. This is the only way. And if you fail at doing this, you are not living your life in a way that is sufficiently gentle given what kind of condition you have, and you will likely keep deteriorating. On the other hand, if you can succeed at avoiding all crashes, you will at least, and this is the minimum you can expect, you can at least stabilize your condition. And in many, many cases, I would argue in most cases, you will improve over time. So, how do you do this? The only way you can do this is by living your life. And this is extremely challenging, I know, because I've not succeeded at it myself. I'm still working on it, and I've gone wrong so many times up until this point. But in my experience, it is possible. But yes, it will require an extreme, it will require a great deal of discipline to do so. So the only way you can do this is to live consistently within your energy envelope. And what do I mean by this? By this, I mean that you need to change your whole way of life, and you need to accept your new limitations wholeheartedly. It is the only way. And within these new boundaries, you create a new life for yourself. Many of the hobbies that you used to have, they are no longer viable for you. If you used to go to the gym and this keeps crashing you, triggering post-exertional malaise, I'm sorry to tell you, you cannot do this anymore. You have to stop it. You have to find a new hobby. If you used to work, maybe even just part-time because you could not work full-time anymore, but so you went down to part-time, but you still keep crashing as a result. I'm sorry to tell you, you are exceeding your energy envelope, and if you keep doing this, you will get worse, and your energy envelope will just keep shrinking over time. And what is now your best day, what is now your worst day, will become your best day. And trust me, you do not want to end up there. But it happens to so many people with this condition. So these are just some examples. It all depends on where you're at which stage, which level of severity with your illness. But you have to stop the boom and bust cycle. You have to do it. It is the only way. And I wish someone told me this earlier. Because the reality is, when you have ME/CFS, it's not just the immediate impact from the crashes, the fact that maybe you will be forced to rest for a couple of days, maybe in bed if you are, on the more moderate to severe side. You will be fully bedbound maybe for a little while. It's not just that. But what I really want to emphasize to you is that each crash causes you to get worse also for the long term. It affects your, I don't know, your long term energy envelope. And what I mean by that is that each crash will take you lower in terms of your level of functioning, and it will take longer to get back to where you were before. And this will happen each time, and gradually you will just become more and more debilitated until you lose the ability to do even the most basic things this is what can happen to you. So pacing is absolutely essential, and there are of course other things as well that I'm going to speak about and address, because you need to also work on other aspects in order to put your body in a healing state, so that it can get a fighting chance when you have this. But the most important thing is to stop the boom and bust cycle. You have to break it. And now I just want to say one thing also, and that is, I am aware that there are people that have this knowledge. Maybe they've had the condition a long time. Some people that I know as well, or know about, they have this knowledge, and they are perhaps more knowledgeable than me also when it comes to this condition. They are experienced, but they are already at such a severe state that it is extremely hard to break this pattern of boom and bust, because in their case they are full-time bedbound, and maybe they lack the support, the help that they need, and just any little thing will trigger a crash for them. And this is why I think some people will have a very hard time recovering from this ailment, unfortunately. Because once your body reaches that state, then you are kind of trapped, basically. Because you have to be able to break this pattern to put your body on a healing path. But if you are at a place where just someone walking into the room will trigger a crash, how can you break the cycle? You know? And for some people, this is the reality. So, of course, there are things you can try to do in those instances as well. I never think all hope is out when it comes to this. But I'm not gonna dwell more into that for now. So that's some things that I wanted to address, and I think I'm gonna create a second video as well, where I maybe talk a little bit more in detail about exactly how you need to live, um, in order to, and give some examples as well, in order to basically make sure that you're, or in order to at least um, increase your odds um, of staying within your energy envelope and avoiding all crashes. So, but basically, you don't want to ride the edge. This is the most important thing. You need to have a margin of error here. It is so important. In some of the guidelines, they say you only want to do maybe half of what you think you can do. And this is so true, actually. You just need to stay within your energy envelope with a wide margin of error, because the consequences of the crashes are too big. So that's all for this video, but I think I will make a second one as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this was useful to some of you. And till the next one, bye bye.